Hi, this video is about SEO relevant links and how Google's algorithm really defines relevance. I think there is a lot of major misunderstandings around this. And the problem with major misunderstandings is that people think they get what's going on or get what really matters, and they miss opportunities and they don't understand why their SEO is not working. And this is specifically for link building. At the same time, a lot of this will still apply to like on-page SEO in terms of what really matters. And I think it'll also, especially if you've watched some of my other videos on like what really matters from SEO and an on-page SEO, which I'll link to some of the videos below. Then it'll kind of put a lot of the pieces together. About me, my name is David Hood, and I've made well over $1 million online, pretty much all with SEO, and I've been doing SEO for quite a while now. Okay, so here's really where a lot of the confusion stems from. People are looking at what is a relevant link from a human standpoint, and thinking that Google is really advanced, so they can think like a human. Well, while Google is pretty advanced, they definitely cannot think like a human. Just as recent as like 5 years ago, it was just like super ridiculously easy to game Google and just kind of stupid. While it has definitely improved and Google would definitely like you to think that they think like a human, a lot of their actual human type behavior is actually manually input. So they have a lot of people that kind of manually check the algorithm and are tuning it on a regular basis. But that's not a perfect system, and by and large they still depend on an algorithm. And an algorithm essentially reads data. If you go to a site and you do like view source, you see it's just a bunch of text, and that is what Google really sees. This is not completely accurate. They're getting better at like seeing images and kind of understanding images, so they are getting better at this. But ultimately, this has been a core part of their algorithm since the beginning, and it'll still be a huge part of it going forward, and how they define what is really relevance. I don't think that this is going to be something that they're going to be able to like fix overnight. So I'd be surprised if even within 5 years, they're still not going to be thinking like a human. I think they're going to try to get closer, but things change so much just in the world that it's going to be. I think it's going to be quite a while before they really catch up to what really matters. But in terms of thinking on what's a human, but to them, what really matters might still actually be the same. Even if they are thinking exactly like a human, they might not make the same determinations that a human would make. Usually when you look at a site, you can tell what it's about. Okay, Google's algorithm can't really do that quite so easily, and it's more that they look at different things that a human would look at. We tend to use much more visual orientation to pick out what it is about. So, but what really matters to them? So that's really the question that you want to answer, because there's an unlimited amount of links you can get out there, and some of them look good to a lot of people, but they don't realize that they're not really going to help them. They might even hurt them. They might even reduce their relevance for certain things. And there's other links that look maybe okay to some people, but to me they look really great because they're highly relevant, which does matter. But a lot of people, they define relevance incorrectly. Okay, so we want to look at the on-page SEO of those links. So if you think about it, if I've got site A, and let's do an example here. We go to site A. This is just on mysite.com, and we've got linking site. Let's do linkingsite.com is linking to it. Okay, so what is the on-page SEO of this site? What's going on this site? And what are the most important areas for that? Number one, the domain name. So if the domain name has like keywords in it, that is going to be really huge. That's going to have a huge benefit to me. Okay, assuming all the other things check out, if it's not like a penalized site or something. But this is going to be the number one place that you're going to want to look, which would be the domain name. So if the domain name has link keywords in it, but then like everything else doesn't match, it still can actually give you quite a bit of relevancy. Now there are some thresholds here to where if for some reason like it has a keyword in it, but it's not really a keyword, and like the brand name, there's a lot of links with the anchor text of the brand name that like kind of correct for that, then you might not get that credit. So it can't be like kind of like seem like in the domain name that it actually is one word, but in reality it's like it's really something different. And so in that case, I think you're still going to get some relevancy probably, but there is a threshold, I think, where it flips and you don't get nearly as much relevancy. But so, you know, if you're trying to rank for on-page SEO and somebody has onpageseotips.com and everything else checks out, then that's a really great place to get a link from. And then the next things are going to be the titles and the URLs of the pages. So, you know, if it's a home page, then you're just looking at the title. But if it's an inner page you're getting a link from, then what's the URL of that page? And then the H tags matter. And then there's actually a really huge gap in content. And so I really wanted to put this on here because I think this is how we judge whether or not a website is relevant to our, you know, to what we're looking for. What's the content? But from a Google's algorithm standpoint, it's actually pretty low on the list of priorities. Now, it can be a higher priority from an indirect sort of engagement standpoint. For example, if people are searching for on-page SEO, and they think all these things match up, and so Google ranks it for on-page SEO, and people are clicking on it and then bouncing back to the search results right away, Google's going to make sort of a roundabout assumption that the content is not relevant. Okay, so if that is happening, then it kind of trumps all of these things. Okay, but that's not how they're going to start. Okay, and that is the exception and not the rule. So, like with SEO, there's all sorts of different context that goes on here. But don't think because someone, you know, you're trying to rank for, you know, let's say handbags, and you have a site, you know, a site has a ton of content about handbags. Don't assume that that means that it's going to be a link that's going to pass a lot of relevance. Okay, if all this other stuff is not matching, then actually maybe it won't pass that much relevancy. It still probably will to a certain degree because content does matter, but it's much lower on the list than most people think. Okay, so now you also have to look at the off-page SEO of, for example, linkingsite.com. So let's pull this down here. So let's actually go down. So we put this down here. So what are the on-page what's the on-page SEO of the links going to here? Let's call this a tier 2 link site.com. Okay, and also what is the anchor text going back to here? If you don't know what anchor text is, it's basically if I were to make this a clickable link, that whatever you would actually click on, that's the anchor text. So if there were a bunch of if this site had a bunch of links with the anchor text, handbags, in a natural way, not in an unnatural way, but in a natural way, to where Google made it think that made Google's algorithm think that this site was really relevant to handbags. Well, then that's going to increase the relevancy of this site. Again, this is going to be more important than content. Domain name is going to be more important than content. Titles and URLs, H tags, all going to be more important than content. Actually, the on-page SEO of its links. If a lot of the links going here have handbags in their domain name, their titles, their URLs, and their H tags, and even if the anchor text is just kind of broad and general, and the content on the site is not like super highly relevant to handbags where it has quite a lot of relevancy, that's still going to pass a lot of relevancy. This is really important to understand because a lot of people, they'll go to the linking site and they'll see if it is they'll see if it does it have content on handbags or not, and if it doesn't, then they think it's not a relevant link, and if it does, they think it is a relevant link. And that is what kind of the point of this video is to say that is a poor way to go about it. A lot of the times it's going to match up, but a lot of times it's not going to match up, and it's more about also, it's not just about is it relevant or not. It's not a 0 or 1, it's a scale. And it's not really, it's more like, it's not even a linear scale. It's more like a bunch of, is it relevant to all these different things? And so you want to, if you get to a site and it has a little bit of these, you know, you have two different sites, they both have sort of content that's somewhat relevant to your what you want to rank for. But one of them they both cost, let's say this, to name a number, they both cost $100 of resource, whatever that you need, your time or your money. And one of them has all the stuff matching really, really well, the on-page and the off-page, and the other one has very little of it. It's got a really poor domain name. It's got really poor titles and URLs, really poor H tags. The links going to it are not really relevant. The former one is definitely going to pass a lot more relevance to you. It's going to be a much better link. And I would definitely get the $100 one. If I only had $100 in my pocket, I would definitely get the first one and not the second one. So that's part of, even if the first one was $200 and the second one was $100 or even $50, I'd still get the first one over the second one. It's going to make a huge difference. Relevance matters a lot also when it comes to like local SEO, which is a whole other discussion in and of itself. Also, there's a whole other discussion on like, well, is the site something that is clean? I've got to add it to my queue. I will try to shoot another video about like how to determine if a site is penalized by Google or not, or if it's really going to be, maybe all the stuff matches, but the site for some reason it's on Google's bad list, naughty list. You don't want to link from it. So if you like this video, please like it and subscribe for more videos like it. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.